Section 31 is awful. It's so much worse than you would think it could possibly be. Now, on when I did my stream yesterday, I'd only watched the first half, and it was stupid, mediocre, generic sci-fi that was absolutely pointless, right? But the really shit stuff happens in the last 45 minutes. That's where it really goes into super drive, right? This is just, it has to be an embarrassment for everybody involved, right? It genuinely has to be. So let's do a deep dive. Okay. By the way, my initial, yeah. Tell me if this makes any sense whatsoever. So we start with this thing. Fate, who makes the sword, does the forging in advance. Fate, who makes the sword, does that's a nonsensical statement. What are they trying to say? Fate, who makes the sword. Oh, I see what they're saying. Fate makes a sword, saying going to be like Giorgio or whatever her name is, does the forging in advance. Is that? I mean, again, it's trying to sound clever and profound, and it's just saying that things have a beginning before they get to the middle. Essentially, I think that's all it's trying to say. So we get the first 10 minutes is no, okay, fine. Let's just back up for a second. Like, what the hell? I couldn't remember much about this at all. So, the character Philip Giorgio, played by, what's her name? Which is the only reason this thing is being made, Michelle Yeoh, right? So, she was in the first episodes of Star Trek Discovery. She was on a planet, and they needed to send a signal. So, her and the stunning and very brilliant Michael Burnham walk in a shape of a Star Trek Delta so they can be found in the sand, I think. Anyway, so she gets killed in the first episode by Burnham being too wonderful, too stunning, too brave. And then they have a whole thing with the Mirror universe where you meet her again, and she's the Empress of the Mirror universe. So then I think she gets trapped in our universe or something. She can't go back. And she's working for Section 31, and then she's on Discovery, and for some reason she gets caught in the garden. The Garden Forever sends her back somewhere in time, and I couldn't remember where that was. I worked out last night, again, when I was on Downstream, we're talking about this, that one of the main characters, and I had no freaking idea while I was watching this, one of the main characters is Captain Garrick when she was young. Captain Garrick was the captain on the Enterprise C in yesterday's Enterprise. So I looked it up, and that's, I think, 2312 or something. But anyway, so this is very much in the Enterprise B timeline, right? It is set after Generations and before Next Generation. Right, so it's around there, but I forgot that's where she is. Anyway, so that's where her character is, and here the crushing shame of this is it actually could have been if there was a functional working Star Trek series, right? Like a good one, something that we like. You could do a Star Trek underworld type of thing, which would be kind of fun. But they did that in Star Trek Picard in like the Raffi sequences, and I think that generally speaking worked. I really like the Vulcan gangster. Anyway, so now we have this long pre-title sequence or whatever introduction, and this is obviously young Captain, young Empress, whatever her name is, Michelle Yeoh. And she goes home and said, I made it back, yay! And she was in some kind of like Hunger Games trials. Everything about this is so derivative. Everything about this is, the new Superman TV spot. I will take a look at that. Thank you, JFO. That's the next thing we're looking at. Freaking loving the James Gunn stuff. JFO, you have done well. Come the revolution, I will allow you to die quickly. So yeah, what is it? So we're in Was it? Everything about this is incredibly derivative and incredibly cliched, right? It's just very, very badly written, right, in many, many ways. So she returns home after being in this Hunger Games sort of thing, and she beat her adversary, who was her lover or boy, whatever, and then she has she's put something into the stew that's going to kill all her family, right? Which is her last test here. Right, yeah. So she kills her family, and then this giant spaceship arrives, and this again, Kurtzman can't work out why going bigger and bigger and bigger isn't like the way to go for everything. Because it makes it all meaningless. In other words, so now so you have all the troops beam down in formation. Yeah, I'll show you how again, all this is listen to the music. I mean, this is honestly we're a couple of years away from this. From this whole thing being entirely creatable, including the script from AI. So this was the person she was fighting, who was her lover, and now the former empress says she takes a sword and burns his face in with it and makes him into a slave rather than kill him, I think. Okay, so then it gets really stupid, right? As we have one of the many, many info dumps. Just look how stupidly this is done.
All hail the Emperor!
I have the power! And how is she the Emperor now? So then we get this major info dump, right?
This is Control with a priority message for Alpha.
Yeah, none of it makes sense. I just realized that's Jamie Lee Curtis's voice. Jamie Lee Curtis is a very dodgy person. She's got this pedophile art piece on her wall. Her kid, there's something very weird going on with Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's not good. So this is just, again, very clunkily telling you what the setup is, right? That she's on a space station now, and they're sending a Section 31 team to go and pick her up for this job, right? And this space station, again, why not? Because they couldn't give a shit. That's why not. Why not make the space station look like it fits into the movie era's Trek, which is where they're supposed to be? No, nothing works. Nothing about this works, and it's just cheap shit. Although they made this for $80 million, I was like, that's $80 million badly spent. It really is. It's like and look again. Look how cheap this is. Like their cool space casino. There's hardly any extras there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10. And it looks empty as hell. But okay. So this is her coded transmission 1. Yeah, they put it again. There is nothing that connects to Star Trek at all in this whatsoever. In fact, so much so when you see Star Trek stuff, you go, what's that doing there? Coded transmission 1, One Night at Baram, right? So they give little titles for, I think there's 3 or 4 sections. And Philip Jojo walks in, and there's she noticed the covert ops team. She's got the black and white face guy from Let This Be Your Last Battlefield. Weren't they all destroyed, right? And of course he's super gay. Yeah, obviously he's super gay, right? And they previously used sets from another Trek to keep the cost down. I'm sure they did, right? This is Control, Section 31, Kurtzman Trek, Control, and 13 from Babylon 5. I know which one yeah, exactly. So there's somebody waiting to see her. He's like a personal assistant or something. And again, it's just feels like they're taking a bit of a piss on the corpse of Star Trek right now. So he turns up, and I keep thinking, holy shit, is that guy from Silo? What's that guy's name? He's a good actor. Guy who plays Sims. Got one. He's like an ex-rapper. I'm saying Silo. What's the name of that guy? Silo stars. Where is it? He's like one of the main characters. Here it is. Common. There you go. I keep thinking it's Common. And look, in all fairness to me, I don't think he looks so bloody different. Here, these people certainly look similar. Is there a good picture of him? I don't have a good picture of him. Never mind. All right. So he's turned up to recruit her to this for this. I can't even remember. Who cares? And she's like, "I've seen your teams here." And then she goes and talks about they do this several times where they introduce the whole team. You got that guy over there, and the Delton over there. The Delton was actually one of the only good characters. That genuinely interests me. One second, let me show you.
Amyloid, a green-blooded shapeshifter, trying to muster sexy.
Okay, I love that she's blowing a bubble and it turns into a heart. I think that's very, very cool. And I like this Delta was sexy, okay? Because here's the thing. What's the name who played it in Star Trek Motion Picture? Persis. I'll look up. Star Trek, the motion picture. Star Trek, the motion. I can't remember the name of the character. Ayala? Pembus. What was it? 1 second. I'm just trying to find the one that's like. No. Grace Lee Whitney. Oh, Persis Kahambata. Right? So she never really did it for me. Never turned it on. I like they have a sexy Delton in this, right? So that worked for me as well. All right, and then was it Krasinski, the guy was in EastEnders, who was going to take over from Jonas Armstrong as Robin Hood, but never did. His career has never really taken off the way I think it should be. Plus, Kim Bitter. Yeah, that's exactly right. Colin Archer. And she's like, and there's this laughing Vulcan, which is such a stupid idea. Oh, God. And now this laughing Vulcan also is Irish, right? Now, this is not the first time Alex Kurtzman has done a very racist take on an Irish person. And he's literally... He's like the elf from Lucky Charms. He's like, oh, be gonna. Like it's so offensive, right? It's so offensive. And why is he Vulcan laughing? And then you have this woman who turns out, and again, I didn't find out until after I watched it, is Captain Garrick from Enterprise C about 20 years earlier, right? Fine, and then you got like a lot of the Fifth Element, Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing going on. Yeah. So again, there's nobody in that room. Look at it. It's so weird. So she has this wonderful club, and they want to recruit her. And actually, honestly, she gives, I think, a decent performance in this. In that it's super camp and takes the piss, right? I also think she's kind of it's also called Trek. Yeah, it's more actually, I would say, Mission Impossible, Ocean's 11 Trek, right? It's much closer to that, right? And so she's decided what to do, and they join her for some reason, and she joins for some reason. Who cares, right? And they get, oh, fine. There's a MacGuffin they need to find. She is super hot. I wonder what. Let's have a look who she is in real life. Star Trek, Section 31. Let's have a look at the cast. cast. Alok, no. Quasi, no. Robert Kaczynski, no. Casey Rose, Rachel Garrett, that's so dumb. As Melee, Humberly Gonzalez. Let's have a look. 1 second. Let's see what Humberly Gonzalez looks like when she's being sexy, because she was very sexy in this, right? Okay, she's sexier without hair. Fine, I just looked at that this way. She's totally sexier without hair. But anyway, that they had a sexy Delton, I think that's one of the few things I actually really liked about this. Fine, so she's made the whole team, and they're all on their ship together, and they got to go and get this MacGuffin that can destroy, it'll wipe out an entire quadrant, right? And the mystery of the, so that guy's going to sell it, and so she has to intercept it. The laughing Vulcan, it's actually like a Men in Black thing when it's a suit that this teeny tiny alien's walking around in. If I get to see him at any point, I will point it out to you. By the way, this guy actually wasn't bad either, but like generally speaking, this is just shit. All right, it's unwatchably bad. Okay, fine. So they got to find this guy who's selling this MacGuffin thing, right? From the original Mirror universe. And here, do we see what's inside that guy yet? I think maybe 1 second.
Welcome, Dadano.
This is where fuzz comes in.
Yeah, it's this teeny tiny little alien inside a Vulcan robot thing. Why Vulcan? I don't know. It's just kind of stupid, right? So they've got to get the box from the guy. What their plan was, they were going to knock her out and have the shapeshifter take her over. He says, "No, I'm going to, I'll work out to get it instead." So they get the thing, but then I guess somebody turns up and there's a big fight. Oh yeah, so somebody. Oh yeah. There was again, if this was done in something that was good, it would have been a good idea. It would have worked, but it just kind of didn't. So there's a fight between Philip and Jojo, who has this thing that can change her phase slightly so she doesn't interact with the world around her. And then there's an assassin who turns up to steal the MacGuffin, who also can do that. So we have like kind of a lengthy fight sequence. And then I think they kill the only character I like. Look at this. I'm bummed. You got rid of the eye candy already. So then, again, there's a lengthy fight sequence. And I think what's name was actually does it quite well. Let me see if I can get a scene of her fighting. Yeah, but directed awfully. You see how they flip the camera? It's just every cheap trick after every cheap trick. But as you can say, okay, so this is the MacGuffin, and it's something that can destroy the whole universe or the whole quadrant or something stupid. And it's something that she had made for her when she was Empress of the Mirror universe. Right? So the slave guy shows up, who used to be her lover at the beginning, right? And he's made this thing. And basically he said, I ordered it destroyed, right? Basically just setting this thing up as a thing that's going to destroy everyone. He has taken poison along with the rest of the team that worked in it out of pure shame. And then he kills over and dies. There's nobody likes you. Anyway, so so we got to get rid of. I don't know what they have to do with it. The assassin guy stole it, right? So they got to go and retrieve it. because it's super dangerous. And they end up on this planet, which has lots of it looks like where they shot a 1980s David Bowie music video, right? There's all these like plumes of fire coming out the ground. Did they at some point? I think they crashed at some point. When did they crash? I can't remember. So they're so they're interrogating him, and then something happens, and the ship crashes, right? And it's all booming. And fine, whatever. They all survive, and they now it's like, oh, we're marooned, we don't have a ship. It's so many cliches, right? It's just cliche after cliche after cliche. And again, I'm trying to view this not as a piece of Star Trek, but a piece of just generic science fiction. And it still fails terribly. I mean, it really is shit, right? So she's also had a phase with the air she needs to breathe. Yes. Well, this is Kurtzman Trek, right? So now they have to split up for some reason. Then they figured out the killers. There's a mole working inside them. And they don't know who it is, but there's a garbage scow that they can resurrect. So a couple people go and look at it, and they need to say, oh, we need this bit of MacGuffin here. And then, and she's really bad. I mean, why did they make a Garrett? I just don't understand. Doesn't look or act in any way like a character we saw for like 5 seconds 30 years ago. Okay, the next bit is all like cat and mouse. Who is the mole, right? Trying to work out who's the mole as they find everything being everything that needs been destroyed. They want to send a signal, but they're basically just trying to problem solve stuff in between cliches, right? I don't even remember what's going on with this. Is she fixing
For a week.
Okay, so you're into Mecha Boom Boom.
Okay. So it's she thinks she's a bad guy because she's Starfleet. And again, kind of boring cat and mouse going on. I think this is the and then a little bit later on the Robert Krasinski. They think he's a bad guy. Oh, wait a minute. What was? Yeah, I forgot there was this bit over. Oh, yeah, this was so dumb. I missed the whole section. But again, none of this really matters. Like, some of the bits they need to go have been taken by Robert Kaczynski, but it turns out it's really the little wee alien doodad guy flying inside, controlling the Vulcan bloke, is now controls was it the mechanoid person? And it's kind of like this weird trans allegory that he identifies as the suit, right? I am the mecha suit. It's and you can see it's nonsensical garbage, right? Essentially. So next hurdle they have to get through. Yeah, for some reason, right? They then have to go on this Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom kind of like chase here.
Happened to no crew member left behind.
Nice. Oh, they thought she was the bad guy, so they had her tied to a chair. Now she just breaks it up because she's running and brave. And yeah, look at this. This is like so many cliches that make no sense. Now we've got to chase the bad guy. Okay, whatever. And so the Robert Krasinski guy is dead. He like drills himself in the eye apparently. But then the body gets hacked and taken over by the wee guy in the Vulcan. Tzvi Lebetkin, they made her Garrett for 1 for member bearers and 2 to try and link it to Real Check. There's nothing that links this to Real Trek at all, right? It looks nothing like Real Trek, and again, it's all like look at this soulless. Oh, we're gonna go fast. And lots of more like kind of pointless fighting. Fine. So now we're about 20 minutes from the end, and the real big bad shows up, who was the person buying it, who was her lover from a child, as we saw at the beginning, who killed himself after he made this terrible weapon, is really still alive. He says, I have been using, I gave myself a little bit of the poison every day, so I built up a resistance to it. And now he's a big bad, right? Transfers over to him. Again, this woman looks feels nothing like Captain Garrett. Fine, so now they got a garbage scow and to go after like a heavily armed ship, and so we're into the final denouement of this pointless garbage, right? Where they chase and they fight, and it's I think finally the Vulcan dude gets killed, right? This is the dumbest thing. When they're going to use the rabbit's foot MacGuffin, and it turns on, it comes with a built-in countdown clock. It's so funny. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Hang on. That actor's quite personable. The black guy who plays the shapeshifter, and so they're using their tractor beams to try and pull this bigger ship, of course, and then they're going to fire their garbage at it. Oh God! And here it is. Yeah, look at this.
Round one.
Oh yeah, so now she kills the bad guy. Oh, there you go. More boring Discovery-esque fights. Yeah, and as it gets ready to count down, another thing turns red on it. Okay, good. This is a really weird scene as well, which you've got Captain Garrett or whatever it is, Ensign Garrett or whoever they are, going through the garbage in the garbage scow. And they luckily find this alien doll, which has an illegal power source. And she knows if she pours something on it, some water or something on it, it's going to blow. So they're going to try and shoot the garbage at the enemy ship. Right? Oh, that's the real bad guy. Hang on.
No!
It's wonderful just to be with you.
Yeah, for some reason that turned into a massive bomb. Why? Who gives a shit? Oh, I mean, like, honestly, there's no point paying attention to this as you're watching it because there's nothing of any note anywhere. It's like nothing is worth your time. And this review, but the plot of it may seem a bit confusing. I mean, look at this. It's like every fucking episode of Discovery did this shit. It's like, but none of this is worth your time. And the plot is incomprehensible, as you can see when I try to relate it to you. And he stabs her in the cheek with a giant sword, but she kills him because she's more stunning and brave. And they embrace it. Oh yeah, and so then they're going to. Their idea is they're going to send the quadrant destroying weapon into a portal to the Mirror universe for some reason, which makes no sense. But we saw the Mirror universe still exists in Deep Space Nine, which is about 100 years after this. So maybe there's several parallel Mirror universes. Who knows, right? But that's it. Yeah, we're going to commit genocide and wipe out the Mirror universe. And somehow they beam them off just in the nick of time and they survive, right? And then ends up they're back on the space station, and they get a Mission Impossible like summons, and it's all like, oh, we're setting up a pilot for a movie. It's going to be so good, right? They bring back another Vulcan. This is the same actor. But it's a different Vulcan. It's got a little wee alien in him, but it's a different Vulcan with a with a different accent. And again, that's exactly what they did with was it the holograms in Picard's what's it called again? Picard season 1. It's Picard season 1. The captain had all these holograms that had different accents. So they're doing the same thing again. I like, how are you recycling again? It's unbelievable. So what this thing really wants to be, let me see if I can find a trailer for it, is a fan film called Star Trek Renegades. I got the trailer over here. That was actually quite good. Here, let me get this. This is from 9 years ago. And so demonstrably better than anything we've just talked about. It's anyway, so they get the gangs all back together again, and then they get a message from their handler, which is Jamie Lee Curtis for some reason. Again, just stopping by from molesting children. Wait, is the shapeshifter changing from Oda? No, the shapeshifter is the same species from Star Trek 6 that David Bowie's wife played. Yeah, that I can't remember the name of the race, right? But that's essentially it. So this is set after the TOS original series era. Why is there a character from a race that's been wiped? Nothing matters, right? Because this is just shit. Oh yeah, and they had Garrick was like this uptight cunt the entire time, and now at the end she turns up. She's got blue hair and she's funky. Okay, and they get their new mission, so your mission is I want you to take a bunch of children and deliver them to places. It's fine. I'm sure they're their parents. They'll be fine. It's just awful. It's just literally awful. Like Bo Yeon Kim and Erica Lippoldut came up with the story for this, but they didn't write the script. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing and painful and long. So this is what I think this is what they're going for, and sadly, they didn't get this. Now, this is obviously a lot. Yeah, it does actually feel that much cheaper, right? But it's definitely a fan film.
Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade.
I mean, this actually fits in the Star Trek universe.
I'll lead them away. You stay here.
Don't leave me!
I have to, or they'll get you too.
Oh man, this is exactly like. I didn't realize they ripped this off so exactly.
There may be evidence that she is still alive.
I tell you, I was never really a fan of Star Trek Voyager. I watched it when it was on. Janeway always annoyed me. And that whole thing, none of it really worked for me. It wasn't my favorite thing. This is called Star Trek Renegades. So you can get it on YouTube. And then they did another one just called Renegades, right? But I love seeing Tuvok now when he's older. He's become a much more interesting character.
Tell me.
Do this mission, and I will.
Oh, Tim Ross directed it. Oh, good for him. That he's the guy who plays Tuvok.
I'm worried about you, Poppy. You should have retired years ago.
I'm only 143. With all the new medical advances.
Robert McCart, oh yeah, he makes an appearance in it. Oh man, I'm so sad he was saying Elon Musk did a Hitler salute. I mean, really? Robert, mate, don't be an arsehole.
I'll be around when you become captain.
The Federation made
I like that it was called Archer, the ship.
a grave mistake in interfering. We will not be stopped by you.
Yeah, they feel like genuinely Star Trek-y aliens, right? Again, the whole thing fits into Star Trek and does exactly what this piece of shit wants to do, and it just fails at it completely.
We will not be stopped by anyone.
The Council refuses to act. He is destroying planets, and yet they do nothing.
We can't trust anyone.
Our salvation may rest with rogues and outcasts.
Alexa, sing. You're supposed to be serving out a life sentence in an Orion prison.
A recognized leader of a whole world, and we just stroll in and assassinate him.
Starfleet's prime directive won't let them interfere, so they have to find someone else.
Spirit without discipline can have deadly consequences.
I'm in the mood to watch this.
This is Stronghold. It's ultra fortified.
That won't bother me.
Is that the same guy who played the Borg in Voyager? I kind of think it is.
Be careful. One tragedy is enough. Make no mistakes. You will be hunted.
That's the way we like it.
She's into that, is she? Oh, good for her.
I will bring the Federation to their knees.
We could be in trouble.
We're already in trouble.
Let's give them hell.
Okay, it's been many years since I've watched this, but as I recall, the only thing that really looked cheap about this was the set for the bridge, which looked like it was like this room. It looked like a normal little room.
Return fire.
Be careful, Paul. This could get out of hand very easily.
So this came out, I think, right after Gods and Monsters, which I also liked a lot. So if you're gonna watch, if you're thinking of watching Star Trek Section 9, no, get Renegades. It's on YouTube. It's free. It's so much better. Anyway, somebody was very, very proud, weirdly enough, of this piece of garbage. Who was proud of it? It was Alex Kurtzman and LRM is, or LRM Online.
Olatani, Alex, congratulations on this film, Star Trek Section 31.
Olatani is his name? He's the director. He's a shit director. He really is.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, excited everybody gets to see it.
Why? Why are you excited to be able to see this? It just says that you're shit at your job.
And you know what? I saw it. I actually watched it 3 times. It is.
Well, you fuck off. I mean, did you watch it 3 times to try and work out what the fuck was going on with it? You did not watch it 3 times, you lying cunt. You did not watch it 3 times.
Very fun. It is very fun for me. But one of the things is about
how we getting a blowjob at the time. That would make sense.
Star Trek is that every time a movie or franchise actually comes up, it seems to have set its own tone. So what kind of essence would you describe Star Trek?
Okay, no, it used to have a Star Trek tone. Now now they go from this to that to this to that. There's no consistency to anything. So what were you going for with this piece of shit?
31 to people who haven't seen it yet.
Well, I would say if there's one word I could use to sum it all up, it would be fun.
It's not fun. It was shit. It was not fun. Why do you think this was fun? It was predictable, incomprehensible drivel.
Right. And if I were to expand on that a little bit, it would be it's fun, it's exhilarating, it's
Fuck me, no wonder you're such shit director. Look at how creatively empty you are. If I can expand on fun, it was fun and exhilarating. Really? Okay. Silly. I can see they got the A-team in here.
It's a redemption story. It's about second chances, and it's an action movie. And you don't have to have watched the other 58 years of Star Trek to be able to watch this. You can hop in from the get-go and just enjoy the movie. Or if you're a lifelong fan, you can watch the movie and see all the Easter eggs that we've planted within and really enjoy that.
The Easter eggs are just it's like you just vomited bits of Star Trek over something incomprehensibly.
That as well. But either way, you can just come to the movie without any preconditions and enjoy it.
Alex, how do you describe this?
Okay. I went to the movie. I tried to watch it with no preconceptions, and I didn't enjoy it.
Well, he just described it very well. I think it's important to us to make sure that each Star Trek show or movie really is its own flavor, has its own unique tone, so that you can tell the difference between one and the
Yeah, no, you can't. They're all bland. I can't tell just between this and Discovery. They're all bland pap, right? It's like, why do you think there's more of a difference? I don't. What are you thinking, weirdo?
The other, and I think this one's interesting because it carries the weight of a certain kind of understanding of what Section 31 is by fans. And there's been obviously...
We hate it. You dumb fuck. We hate Section 31. It was kind of cool when they mentioned it in Deep Space Nine. Kind of fit in there, and I like them trying to... they reinvented Bashir to be like, the super augment, right? But I like they were trying to recruit him. But, like, fuck me, Kurtzman, you have just gazed upon this relentlessly because you're creatively bankrupt. You are absolutely creatively bankrupt.
A lot of debate about... how much it does or doesn't hew to Roddenberry's very optimistic...
It doesn't.
...and utopian vision of the future.
I mean, do you remember that Star Trek Into Darkness? You were big into doing the same thing then. Like, why'd you write anything? What the fuck is wrong with you? How many times do you need to screw up before you want to go, oh, you know what? This might not be for me.
And I think what's really fun about this is that, we're kind of saying...
When they say fun, do they mean shit, do you think?
That vision of the future, that optimistic utopia, isn't possible without people operating in the shadows to make it possible.
Well, that's the point, okay? Look, here's the thing. There was a conversation on Tim Pool's channel about if OnlyFans should be illegal. I spoke about this, was it last night, the day before? Can't remember. And it shouldn't be illegal. It should be immoral, right? It should be something that you're ashamed that you're doing, right? It's not okay. So it's the same thing here. The world's Gene Roddenberry made, and I think Rick Berman extended in the next gen era, was a world where mankind had a higher level of morality. Right, and I mean, even the Section 31, as we saw it in Deep Space Nine, was a much more moral place.
And those people all want the same things that Federation members want, which is a better future. But
I mean, honestly, if they wanted to do something like this, they could have done like Star Trek Firefly, which is like an independent contractor, flying around space.
They are not really the people who can put on a spacesuit or a uniform and operate like everybody else on a traditional starship. They're the misfits and the outsiders. And
oh God. The man is made purely of cliches.
I think that if you're a fan of Star Trek, so many fans, and I include myself in this, often...
You're not a fucking fan of Star Trek, you cunt!
Feel like misfits and outsiders, right? And
well, okay, you certainly feel like misfit and outsider amongst a bunch of Star Trek fans, right? And then you'll probably feel a boot going up your ass relentlessly.
So in a way, I think this is a tipping of the hat to how much broader the world of Star Trek can be without violating what is essentially...
You know what? Why can't you do your job as a writer and do something within that world of Star Trek? Because you're creatively completely bankrupt.
Star Trek, because at the end of the day, it is a reinforcement of an optimistic future, and that was really important.
No, it's not. Again, it's incomprehensible babble that's being slated by everybody who's seen it. Because again, you saw me try and describe it for you and show it to you. It made no bloody sense, and who cares?
To us, which is why the tone is so important. Fun, funny, emotional.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't funny. It wasn't emotional.
All the things Tunde described, it's not dark, even though it talks about some darker.
It's too stupid to be dark.
Things.
Well said. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Well said. This guy will say fucking anything. This guy, he will suck your dick if you tell him.
For speaking to us about Star Trek Section 31, I feel like this is just a tease for some more things to come.
Thank you.
No, it's not. There's no more to come. Fuck. I mean, look, this is what I said last night on Dan's channel. Like, it could be worse. We could have got a season or 2 of it, or 3. Thank God we didn't. And we should really be grateful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Oh, God, 3.5 minutes of absolute hell. Yeah, and I would describe it as 90 minutes of absolute hell. It's shit beyond shit. Oh.
My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.